Hi, thanks for using my court coach. I'm Sarah, and I'll be your instructor as we talk about the Notice of Motion and Motion for Simplified Modification of Order for Support, also known as Form FL-390. As with all our pleadings, you want to fill in your identifying case caption information at the top, then scroll down, and below that we want to list which type of support we're asking to modify, whether that be for child support, spousal support, or family support. Below that, you want to list the name of the party on whom this form will be served. Below that is room to fill in the date, time, and location of the hearing. If you are in a county where it is required that you go to the courthouse and have the clerk file stamp that information for you and file stamp this motion, then leave that blank for now. If you're in a county where you could call the court clerk and they will give you a date and time to fill in yourself, then go ahead and do so. The address of the court is either going to be the same as noted above, in which case you would mark this box, or if there's a different address where the hearing will take place, then you would list that under Other. Field number 2 asks you to identify the payor of the support order that you're asking to modify, whether that is petition, respondent, or another party or parent. Child support in California is always determined by guideline calculation. That is the statewide formula that California uses to determine child support. If you're asking to modify child support, mark box 2A and then list the date that you're asking the court to make the order effective as of. If you are asking to modify either spousal or family support, mark those boxes and then list next to it the amount that you're asking the order to be modified to, and again, the effective date. Field number 4 asks you would mark this if you are asking the court to order one of the parties to provide health insurance coverage. So you'd mark this box and then identify which party you're asking to be ordered to provide that health insurance coverage. Field number 5 has to do with public assistance benefits for the children. If an application is pending for public assistance benefits for the children, you would mark box 5A and then list the county that that application is pending in. If the children are indeed receiving public assistance, you would mark box 5B and the county that they are receiving those benefits in. 5C, you don't need to worry about. If this motion was being brought by a governmental agency, they might have to mark box 5C, but for your purposes, do not worry about it. You want to serve this motion with your financial disclosure forms that indicate what your income is. That's either going to be your simplified financial statement form FL-155 or an income and expense declaration form FL-150. Field 6 asks you to explain what the basis is for the modification request. If it is a significant change to the income of a party, you would mark box 6B and identify the party whose income has changed. If it is that you're just requesting a guideline support calculation, perhaps your prior order was just based on an agreement and not a guideline support calculation, you can mark 6C, and that's a valid reason to request a modification. You're always entitled to seek a guideline amount. If there's some other reason, you can mark 6D and explain in Other what that reason is. Child support, guideline child support, is based upon not only the party's incomes, but their respective timeshares with the children. If a party's timeshare with a child has drastically been modified, that could be a basis for changing the support order as well, and you would just explain that in 6D. You want to sign and date this form, as with all our court pleadings. Page 2 is for the proof of service for this form. Again, if you're in a county where you have to go to the courthouse to get your hearing date and time, then you do not need to fill this out prior to going to filing it. You cannot serve a motion that has not yet been file stamped by the court or that doesn't have a date listed. On the other hand, if you are in a county where you can call the court clerk and they will give you a date and time to enter on page 1, you can go ahead and serve this and then get a file stamp copy and then serve that as well. With all proof of services, your person that's serving needs to be at least 18 years of age, a U.S. citizen, and cannot be a party to the case. That person would fill out whether this form was served by personal service or by mail. If by personal service, they would need to fill out 2A, and they would list the name of the party or the attorney that was served, the address, date, time, and delivery. If a governmental agency such as Department of Child Support Services is involved, they would also need to be served with this motion, and 2A2 would need to be filled out as well with the name of that agency, the address of the delivery, the date, and time. If service is done by mail, then box 2B needs to be filled out, and again, name, party, address, date, time, and mailing would need to be filled out. And if a governmental agency is involved, then that governmental agency also needs to be served, and your process server would have to fill out the address, date, time, and mailing of that service, and they would need to sign and date this form. I hope you found this helpful. Good luck.